money is not this like evil thing against you. The energy of abundance, the energy of money, like it's a supporter for you. It is a tool for you, a tool that everybody gets to have. It's always working with me. And if I feel like it's not working with me, there's something I'm doing that's blocking our partnership. Like money is always trying to flow to people who can be good stewards of it. Hello and welcome back to the show. We're back today talking about money. I wanted to do an episode about how my relationship with money changed and just some things that I really believe about abundance and energy that have helped me in my journey. And, some of it might resonate, some of it might not, but I work with a lot of people and I have so many sessions where this topic of money is coming up, obviously, and it's like such a big topic. We can't even unpack all of it in a session. And I feel like it's one of the biggest misunderstandings that people have in our world and in our reality. And I really believe that money is such a powerful healer and teacher because it pushes us to look at parts of ourselves that we wouldn't otherwise look at. So I just channeled, which was the previous episode, some messages about money, and I don't really even remember what they said. So I don't know how much of what I'm going to say is going to overlap and what's not, but I think it's helpful to just kind of hear from a personal perspective. I know I've talked about my journey with money in other episodes, but I did not have like the perfect relationship with money ever. I don't even know what the perfect relationship would be, but I definitely, I think if you just kind of grow up in today's world, you feel this sense of restriction with it. You feel a sense of pressure related to money. And I definitely had the belief ingrained in me. You just have to work really, really hard. And if you work hard enough, you can make enough money. And I think I was blessed of having examples that, hey, if you do work hard enough, that's possible for you. I know some people grow up with the belief or with, people telling them like, no matter what you do, you're not going to change your financial situation. And that's really hard to have growing up, and it's not true. That's what I'll say. And I know that can be difficult for people to really rewire, but I'm grateful that I at least had that belief from a young age of like, hey, if you work hard enough, you can make more money, right? But it was always a matter of like how hard I worked. And I think the older I got, I started to feel like money was this thing that was just very out of my control. I felt like I would just give my all to everything and pour as much as I could into everything, but it felt like just something that could be taken away at any moment, and I think watching things from adults in my life where they were in great financial situations and just the rug got pulled out from beneath them. I saw enough examples of that it just started to feel like this really unstable thing, and it started to feel like this really untrustworthy thing. And I started to feel within myself this really negative cycle of, all I can do is my best, and I worked really hard, but then this deeper piece of me felt like, well, no matter how hard I work, it's never going to work out for me, no matter, it's like nothing could be good enough. And there was a lot of like, good girl programming, for example. And I just felt like so much contraction and so much, I don't have any control over this. And I don't really know how I kind of got to this place, but some piece of me, I realized, like really believe that no matter what I did, it was never going to be enough, and that everything just worked out better for other people than it did for me for whatever reason. And I think a lot of that feeling started totally different from money, like experiences I had with my mental health, the depression I went through, the anxiety, feeling like an outsider with my gifts, and also my health issues, like my physical health issues. I started to develop this belief that I was just going to get punished in my life, no matter like how hard I tried to be a good person. And I don't know, I had a lot of religious programming because I used to think everything was just a matter of like how good of a person you are. And, if you're a good person, things work out for you. But then I saw a lot of examples of not that, and of people not being good people and it seemed like things worked out for them. And I just got really bitter. But I think with those different health struggles, mental health and physical health, I just started to feel really hopeless. And I felt like everything was really out of my control. And, in some ways, now I'm like, we have so much that's in our control, like most of it's in our control. And also in other ways, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of life that's not in your control of your conscious ego because it's something that's so much bigger than you that's happening. There are so many soul contracts and energetics that are much bigger than you, but your soul has a lot of good stuff going for you. So, I found myself in a really constricted place. And when I started my business, I just did what I knew how to do. And I was grinding, I was working, and I felt like there are periods where I could feel abundance flowing to me. And then I felt like there were periods where it was just really, really not there. And at the time I really couldn't connect what was causing what. And now I can. But I started to go on this inner healing journey because my health kept going in a negative way. I would get better and then I got a lot worse, and it forced me to drop into really deep space of surrender to my life and to my soul and to whatever at the time I didn't know what I believed in, God, universe, anything, whatever, something bigger than me. Like I always was well aware there was something much bigger than me, but whatever was trying to get my attention, like, what are you trying to tell me? And I realized that I had a lot of things within myself where I was just creating a life because of my beliefs and because of my outlook where I wasn't happy. I realized that a lot of my beliefs were just negative. And as long as I was telling myself that every single day, I just wasn't happy. And I was continuing the cycle of not being happy. And I had this moment of like, what are happy people doing? And I just started learning about what happy people were doing and people that I saw around me who were genuinely happy and good things were happening to them. And I just started to get curious about what are they doing? Because it's certainly not what I'm doing. And doing that really changed my life. I started to notice that they thought differently. They acted differently. They chose to see things differently. The same scenario would happen, and I would see it through a negative lens and they would see it through a different lens. They weren't giving energy to things that they were very intentional with what they gave energy to. That's what I noticed. I would give my energy to everything. Every little thing would bother me. I would give my energy away to everything. And happy people, I noticed at the time, would just let things roll off their back. Like they just weren't giving their energy or attention to things that were out of their control, or if it happened, it happened. So there was a deeper level of acceptance. And so I started to kind of copy those behaviors, and I started to really learn about that. And at the same time, I started to really do a lot of subconscious belief work and rewiring work. And that opened up a lot. And I started to, at the time I was, really opening up my spiritual gifts in a serious way. And I was working with spiritual mentors, and I started to channel different ascended masters and beings and talk to source in a really clear way where I could kind of control it in terms of I could ask questions and have like a conversation I could follow. And all of this just changed my world because there were a lot of things that I realized were so different from how I viewed the world. And when I started to apply them, positive things happened. And I noticed that when I applied these things, that almost made it seem like it was too good to be true, but I just did it anyway. It was working. And I realized that probably my biggest issue was that I had told myself somewhere along the way that if it wasn't really hard, it couldn't work. That I wasn't letting myself do it an easier way. And as long as I was doing that, I was making money be really hard for me. At the second that I started to give myself permission to let things be easier, like realizing that in life there are going to be challenges. And so the things that don't have to be challenging, could I just let them be fun and easy? And I started to actually give myself permission to do that. Then I started to look at my business just practically from a really different lens. And I thought, what would be the easiest way and the most fun way for me to make money? And pretty much immediately, that is when my business hit 7 figures. Like it was drastic. And I realized that so much of it was just me giving myself permission to let things be simpler and to let things work for me, to let people give to me, to let myself be seen. And that changed a lot for me. As that started to happen, I was really deep in understanding like kind of energetics of manifestation, and money manifestation was really showing me a lot. And I found this dynamic where every time I would feel really good with money, and then I would hit a really intense edge, and it would usually come with like an investment I wanted to make, so it would be moving was a common one, because I've moved a good amount, at least once a year for the last however many years. Buying my house was a big one. I bought my first house when I was 25, and it was a big investment and kind of came out of nowhere like most things, but it was an edge. It was an edge for me around, like a certain amount of money I wanted to have in my bank account that I could see. And I was nervous about putting it into a property. And I was nervous about, suddenly I had all these thoughts of like, what if I don't keep making the amount of money that I've been making? And what if then I can't pay for this? And I was catastrophizing, and I'm realizing, wow, like I was feeling so good and solid. And now I'm getting an opportunity to have more responsibility, and I am assuming that it's going to go negatively. And I noticed that it was with my house, but I've noticed it with every time I, after I sold that house, like renting, when rent would increase, or hiring people on my team is another edge for sure. Like every time there's another salary, and I feel the responsibility of that. And I noticed that for me, that kind of responsibility I was having contraction with, where it was like, oh, this is going to be a consistent amount of money that I'm going to be, circulating each month. And where my brain was going was, well, what if I can't maintain what I'm doing? Or what if I don't keep improving? Or what if, something goes wrong? And I realized that I felt this resistance within me, because I was relating to it like this responsibility, this pressure to keep doing a lot. Like I was starting to bring that belief back in of like, I have to do more if I'm going to be able to circulate more money. And then I started to unravel, like, how's money actually coming in the door, and I'm just kind of prefacing with that. And here's how I understand money. Okay. How I see money now. And it took me like a journey and exploration, a lot of journaling and talking to money and writing letters to money and just letting it out. Money, how come you're not coming to me? I'm doing so much. You're never coming to me. I feel like you abandoned me. Things were going really well. And then where did you go? What do you want from me? Like literally just letting it out, and then reading it back and realizing, wow, this reminds me of how I feel about this person. This is my resentment toward this. Like I could have changed out the word money with somebody else's name, and I was realizing it was just showing me where I was still holding on to resentment, where I was still holding on to scarcity, where I was still in contraction. And I started to just really understand like, wow, this is just a giant reflection of what's going on in my inner world. But here are the things I know. Here are the things I know now. And this will not be linear. So I don't know. I'm just going to say it as it comes up for me. One is just really understanding that money is just an expression of energy, and that abundance comes to me in a lot of different ways. Like the more I started consciously recognizing all of the abundance in my reality, like I look at the amazing people in my life, the amazing friends I have, how deeply they hold space for me, how much love there is in my connections. I thought about like, the places that I live, and, being in San Diego, or when I was in Arizona or LA, and I'm like, look at all these opportunities and all of the amazing restaurants I can go to, and I can go to the beach, and like feeling the abundance of nature and feeling how many people support me. Like I would look at, everybody who's encouraged me, and I would save every card people would give me for my birthday. And I just started to really recognize the abundance all around me. Like it's actually, when I think about it, when I talk about it, I'm thinking about like the abundance of me just sitting here and everything I feel, and how much life has for me, and everything that I have, and all the energy that's supporting me and taking care of me. And it's just like right here. It's almost overwhelming. in a good way. And I started to realize that energy is constantly trying to come my way. Like that's just the natural order of things. But I also started to recognize that, I love to give. I'm such a giver. And whenever I contract and I'm not giving, like I close my heart or I'm being stingy with what I say or what I want to give, I feel a block with money. And so it's a value for me to give generously. And it feels really good for me. Like I feel that reciprocity right in the moment. Like when you give, and let's say it's like to a person and they receive that and how that can light up their day. And that could be giving anything, like that could be donations. I do a lot of random money sends. I like that because I like how it might feel for people. But I think about just sitting down with somebody, and one of the main ways I like to give is like holding space for people and like really seeing them and reflecting back for them and helping them see how great they are and what their skills are. Like that is something that makes people feel really, really good. And for me, it feels really, really good to share that reflection, to share energy in that space, or even just sharing like products that I like or things that have changed my life, like putting that out and sharing, supporting other people, sharing that abundance, sharing those insights, sharing those tips. For me, a lot of it is information. Like I feel the most abundant when I'm spiritually connected and I'm receiving like this abundance of love, and there's an abundance of information and like powerful information, so much I can't even articulate it all. Like I feel like I'm always giving 0.0001% of what's trying to come through. But the more I share with the community or with my friends, it's like this flow, this energy flow of abundance that's moving through me. And I know that when I allow that, when I don't block it off, money does come to me. And it's not always one-to-one. And this is the thing, like what I understand about money is it doesn't have to be one-to-one. It doesn't have to be, I put this much money into this, so I'm getting this much money out of that same thing. It could be I'm giving abundantly over here, putting a lot of money into this, and that thing might not give me money back. I think about something like a book, right? I mean, it costs more money to publish a book than you make half the time, right? So it's like, books, for example, are a huge, and this is a really practical example, which I feel like is why it's good. It can be a big investment if you're self-publishing, and there's the actual book and the publication. There's like launches and all things that go into that. And it's not that the book in itself is like making me $1 million. I mean, at least for me. I know for other people who are huge authors it might, but for me. But the abundance that shares circulates back to me in other ways. Like that could be in other parts of my business or other investments. And I always notice that whenever there's a huge opening in my internal world, and to be honest, a lot of this comes up for me with vulnerability or with me like sharing something I'm afraid to share. Like I really open my heart, or I stand up for myself, or I really speak my needs. There's this like opening in my heart. And always, every time I've done that, something manifests on the other side. Like, I don't know, a huge I'll like notice when my investments just like shot up and I'm like, whoa. Or it has been, things like, oh, didn't give you that part of your inheritance. That's weird. There's an extra, $20,000 over here. Random. Or like, recently my realtor called me from my house sale, 3 years ago. And he's like, oh, escrow never paid you $5,000. So we're going to send it to you now, 3 years later. Like, it just pops up in small ways. Or it could be like, for sure it's opportunities, like a huge career opportunity that's going to change a lot, or a speaking opportunity. Things like that will always manifest and come on the other side. And I'm like, wow, when I like learned a powerful lesson within myself, money flows into me. And in that way, I really see how there's just an abundance of energy. I notice where I have to just open myself up to receive. Now, the other time when I notice big flows of money come into me are when and it tends to be when I release old things, and releasing old energy definitely makes space for it. But it's not just about releasing, it's about alignment. Like, I 100% know that receiving abundance in your life is about vibrational alignment. And for me, I can tend to hold on to things for too long. And when I let go of them, I get back into alignment. And when I do, it's like a huge flow of money will come in, and I can track like the finances. Running a business like I run, we don't have consistent income. I mean, we always have consistent income, but it's not the same amount every month, right? Depending on different launches we have. There's a lot of like events and program launches that are a big financial backbone of the business. And so it's not always consistent in that way. Like some months will be very, very different than others. But I'll notice like a huge shift depending on, I can map it to like, oh, that was the realization I had that month, and that was the relationship I ended, or I moved houses. It's like a very clear thing I did in my life, and I will see how that changes the energy in my field, and it comes through with money, but I really do always know, like if I think about if I feel a stuckness with money, what do I look at? One is if I'm actually on mission, like if I'm actually doing what the divine is asking of me. And that is 100% the biggest thing. And I know for me, I'll do like different iterations of it, but I will bump up against my fears about being seen and other people's emotions. And I notice that as long as I hold back, I also hold myself back from receiving more. But I really know that the more that I allow the divine to move through me, the more my mission is supported financially. And I feel that flow of energy. So that is one thing I always look at. The second is what I said before about what have I outgrown? What am I holding on to where the contract is up? Where am I out of alignment? What are the things that are draining me? That's connected to, I think about like, am I lit up? Am I magnetized? Like, am I magnetic? Am I excited? And so when there are times when I'm not really feeling inspired or I'm not pumped up, like things are not flowing. I need things to look forward to. I love to travel. I like to meet new people. I like to have new conversations. I love to learn. Like if I'm not learning, I am not in receiving flow, right? That's connected to the other thing I look at. I'm like, am I in receiving energy? Am I in go, 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 do, do, do? Am I taking time to rest, to receive? How is my body feeling? I swear to God, I'm like 2 massages a week. This is my abundance protocol, because in that time, I'm just purely receiving. Like I'm getting touched, I'm getting body work, I'm clearing out my channel. Feels amazing. But I'm just like, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just existing. When I'm meditating, I'm just existing. I'm just receiving love, right? And there are times when I'm meditating and connecting where I'm in much more of an active energy, like I'm working in the field, I'm moving things. And that's different than when I'm just existing and receiving. And making sure I have balance of rest and recovery. There's a reason why a lot of people, the second they get on vacation, they start to make a bunch of money because they're not trying so hard. And that's a big thing. Like wherever we're trying hard, I find we're creating resistance and we're in the way. We're in the way. And so I always think about, this is a huge one for me and probably the hardest one for me, because I complicate things. And I'm like, wherever I'm complicating things is always where I'm limiting my money. It's always where I'm lending my money. And when I can start to streamline or create more of a system that allows flow, energy starts coming in, But I think that so much of it is connected to like allowing yourself to be visible and allowing yourself to ask for things. I think about marketing and business skills, and like I can give people practical business skills. I'm like very good at that practically, but it's all an expression of the energetic, right? Like if you're somebody that is a big people pleaser, if you're somebody that is always worried about what other people are going to think, if you're somebody that doesn't want to make people feel uncomfortable, if you're somebody that struggles to ask for what you need in your relationships or say when you don't like something or when you do, you're going to have a hard time marketing. Like marketing is natural when you are not afraid to ask for what you need. Like I have no problem telling people like, this is the best thing ever, because I believe it and I'm being authentic. And I will tell you guys that about products I love, Paleo Valley or Organifi and, makeup products and like anything I love that is life-changing, lymphatic drain. I'm like, I am good at selling because I'm not selling. I am telling you about something I believe in. It's just that simple. And people feel that excitement and they feel that genuine energy and that authenticity, and they they resonate with it if it's meant for them. And so that's where it's like marketing is natural when you're excited about something and you believe in it and you want to share it with the world. And I think that a lot of where we don't market is where maybe a piece of us doesn't fully believe in what we are offering. And I know with me, I've had to really come back into that why again and again and again. Like if I'm not feeling strongly about sharing something, what part of me doesn't want to share it? And is it because I am worried about what people are going to think? That's my own issue. Is it because I don't believe in it? And the more that I have inquired about that, the more I'm like, I believe in this so freaking deeply. I have to share this with people, you know, and coming back to my why, like allows that energy to flow through. And so I really always feel like being authentic. This sounds so oversimplified, but energetically, authenticity is what allows money to flow through. And money is always indicating when we're in alignment. Like it is that simple. And I know that a lot of people, that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm in alignment, and so tomorrow, you know, $1 billion is dropping into my lap. I mean, maybe not. But it's like these little pings. Like I'll make a decision. I'm like, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go in this direction. I make that decision and I will notice something that feels abundant flows into my reality the next day. And maybe it's like, I got a trip paid for. I manifested a free trip. Or, you know, I was out all day and I was eating at restaurants and I got a free thing at every restaurant, you know, or I got a massive discount on XYZ. Or it could be, hey, that's interesting. You know, we had 5 courses sell in the last 10 minutes. It could come in a lot of different ways, but I will notice an immediate, like I made a choice and I'm looking for feedback in my reality. And it's like, whoa, abundance opened up. That meant I opened up a channel. That's the right direction. And so I do take that as an indicator of how in alignment I am with my mission. But, you know, what I really want people to understand is that money is not this like evil thing against you. The energy of abundance, the energy of money, like it's a supporter for you. It is a tool for you, a tool that everybody gets to have on this earth plane, and we get to make choices with it. We get to be good stewards of it or not. That's a whole other topic, but I'm trying to keep this succinct about things that are really important to me. Like it's with me. It's always working with me. And if I feel like it's not working with me, there's something I'm doing that's blocking our partnership. And I think a lot of people see it as this very like out of control thing, or it's out to get them. And as long as you think that, like you can never be friends. It's just not the truth. Like money wants to help you, and abundance energy wants to flow to people. Like money is always trying to flow to people who can be good stewards of it. And this is why sometimes mean people get a lot of money. I mean, it's not the only reason. People don't understand that. And I'm like, because there's people that are mean, but they're good stewards of money. Like they move it. Like they put it in other things. They invest it, they move it around, they create more jobs, they whatever, right? If you are circulating energy and money, if you're giving it a place to go, it's going to flow there. Money doesn't like to be stagnant. It doesn't like to be, you know, locked in a corner and never used. And so if you're a hoarder of money and energy and you're stingy, like why would it come to you? There's just like a stuckness there. So for me, when I look at the energy of abundance and what I wish I could tell people, I wish I could show people like how I see it. And it's just a giant circuit of energy. And this is why, you know, I really want to express more of this, because I see things in a way that I know a lot of people don't see it. Like it's very physical for me. When people are talking, I'll like watch their streams. I can see their money streams around them, where things are flowing and where in their chakra system it's blocked and where it's open, and even just in their coding, like in their life path, where it's stuck, where it's active. And it's literally just like you have a natural piping or a circuitry in your soul contracts and your soul mission about how money and wealth is going to flow to you. And when you keep trying to do something else, it's just not going to flow. Like it is a math equation in that way. And it's not something that is out to get you. The same way when your body gets sick, your body isn't out to get you. Your body is trying to give you information of like, there is something here that is not healthy for me. I need support, or like we need to go in a different direction. It's the same thing with money. Like when it's not showing up, when it's falling apart, it's like, whoa, where am I leaking my boundaries? Where am I leaking my energy? Where am I pushing you away? Where am I super out of alignment? Like all of that comes up. It's part of the feedback mechanism in the universe. And again, this reality is not trying to punish anybody. It is a neutral system, and it is just circulating energy in waves that we open or we close to it, and based on our beliefs and our coding. And it's, the universe is a yes machine. So when you say, I can't make any money, it's never going to work out for me, it's like, okay, well, we're aligning you with what you're broadcasting. So I guess that's the experience you want. It is really a matter of what you're willing to take responsibility for. And if you're willing to change your beliefs and your actions and get out of your own way and stop blaming it. I think the biggest thing that I see for people with money is they blame it or they use it as an excuse. And it is so much more about your internal experience with money and abundance and love and generosity. And like, I think if I could break it down to its core, it's like, can you love life? Like, can you appreciate life? Can you have fun in life? Can you see the opportunity in life? Can you like find the joy and find the good, or are you always finding the negative? Can you look at yourself and say, whoa, I could grow there, or whoa, like I could learn that skill better, I could be better here? Can you look at that with love and acceptance and do that inner work? Or do you never want to see yourself clearly? Do you never want to do your own stuff? Do you never want to expand or change? There's no way you can expand your experience with money if you're not willing to expand yourself. And, we could talk about the nervous system and safety with money and blah, blah. And, that's a real thing. Like, do we feel safe with money is a real thing? But I just think it is not the main thing. I just think it's not the main thing. And if I could tell you, let me just take a moment to think about, all the conversations I have where this comes up and what I feel like the top things are with clients. I feel like it's one, they are trying to force their life to look a certain way based on their ego, and it's not what their soul wants, which is typically like they're with the wrong partner, or they're trying to push their career in a direction where it doesn't want to be. That's the biggest one. The second is they are looking for external validation of their worth before they believe and own they're worthy and own their power. And when they claim their power and they don't need external validation, the money starts to flow. And I think the third is just belief, like belief in what they're sharing with the world and offering. When people wholeheartedly believe it the same way, like, I mean, you guys know, it's like when I tell you like, this will change your life, this is the best thing in the world, I mean it. Like I am serious. I am very serious, and you can feel that I wholeheartedly believe it. You might not believe it, that's okay, but I really do. And it's that level of belief in what you're offering, that level of importance, that level of meaning. Like, it's how you feel with what you're bringing to this world. When you are so locked in with that, that is where abundance comes in, and all of that leads to other things like humility, which is so important of like, can you learn? I think humility is huge for people. When you are willing to learn, which is, hey, you're willing to have your paradigms just blow open and be turned upside down, you'll never hit a limit with money. And I know for me, that's a huge piece of being able to work with money in a more powerful way. It's like, I'm always learning new things. I'm always learning from new people. I'm really open to new ideas, and there's a lot of different ways you can like hack the system practically, but even energetically. And when you feel that openness and the gazillion ways that you can make money, that you can move money, that you can invest money, you start to see like the sky is the limit. And the bigger issue is more just that maybe you haven't actually educated yourself on what you want to do with the money. And once you have that plan, you might not block yourself from receiving it. So I think that money is a really convenient way to stay hidden. It's a really convenient way to make it so people can't see us, to push off being in intimate relationships, to push off public visibility, to say that we're not ready, to have kids or to move or whatever. Like, it's a really convenient way to hide. And when you can just say, let me take the money out of it and let me just acknowledge why I'm hiding and where I'm hiding, and I don't need money to blame, I can just acknowledge like, I'm scared and maybe I don't want to do this right now. If you can just claim that, it opens up it opens up your system to receiving abundance. But I want you to really think about, like, can abundance flow through my mind, an abundance of ideas, new ideas, or am I always stuck in one direction? Can abundance flow through my third eye? Can I receive information I've never heard of, or am I always filtering through my expectations or what I want? Can abundance flow through my throat, where I don't hold back what I say, and I speak with truth and love, and I share and I express fully? Can abundance flow through my heart, where I give and receive love abundantly, where I'm able to be vulnerable and share? Or am I closing off my heart? Can abundance flow through my solar plexus, where I'm so confident in myself and I claim my power and I share my power abundantly with people? I share my energy. Can abundance flow through my sacral, where I let myself be creative and silly and passionate, and I don't hold back because I don't want to be too much, or I don't want people to think I'm weird? No more withholding my creativity. Can abundance flow through my root chakra, where I am feeling my stability in life, where I'm feeling all of the very real ways that the ground below me is supporting me, where the earth is giving me food to eat? Can I feel the abundance that is here in my material realm, by the people around me, by the clothes on my back, like in the simplest way, like that my legs can stand, that I have vision, that I can, smell the ocean and I can feel the sand beneath my feet, or whatever it is for you? Can I let abundance flow in all of those ways? Or do I constrict? Do I block? Do I hold back? And so you'll start to see that maybe it wasn't really about money, but it's about all of these deeper ways that we hide, that we withhold, that we hold on to fear, that we focus on what's not there instead of what is. You will always find what you're looking for. You will. So those are some things I wish people knew about money. It's one of my favorite topics, because I feel like, well, for me at least, when you start to harmonize with money, and like money is an ally for you, there is a sense of just energy and flow and inspiration that moves you. And it's a really, really exciting way to live. And your mission and your passions and your offerings to this planet, they are meant to be supported, and money wants to support them. So we have to ask ourselves, if we feel like the money isn't there, where am I blocking money? Where am I not allowing money to support it? Where am I saying that I have to do it all myself, or it has to be really hard? I don't want to let anybody in. And when you can start to look at that, you're going to see where you block your own receiving channels. Giving and receiving. So maybe your action step from today is, how can I give a little more of my energy? And how can I receive a little more? What do I want to receive, and how can I ask that? How can I allow myself to feel that receptivity? We have a number of money meditations in Next Level You. We have an amazing abundance activation meditation I would definitely recommend. It is a go-to for working with money that I really recommend. And a lot of that guided energy work can help you realign with the frequency of abundance, feel that energy, and start to work with money in a more conscious way, so that you don't feel constricted, because it's not supposed to feel constricted. Abundance is inherently not constricted, it's open. So I really recommend using these tools. These are the energetic tools that changed my relationship and understanding with money. And everybody can work with energy. Everybody can connect with the divine, with source, with their intuition. And not only can they, I think it's your right, and that you should. It will change your whole life. So you can check out any of the money meditations and guided energy work. To do that energy work, you just press play and you'll be guided through it, and just see what comes up and journal on it. Just go to christinathechannel.com/membership, and you can check out a 7-day free trial. Just test it out and see how you feel. But the more you do that energy work, the more it's going to open up. Everything is living in your energy system. All right. So leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube and tell me what lands for you. If you are listening on the podcast app, maybe leave a comment on a recent Instagram post or the YouTube video if you want to go check it out. I always love to hear your feedback. And this is a really important conversation that I want to energize. And it's important headed into this year so that you can really focus on what matters, which is your mission and what you want to bring to this world, and living in alignment with joy and happiness and creativity, not spending so much time overthinking money, right? So let's let that financial abundance be a byproduct of feeling really good and being on mission and contributing in a way that fills your soul. All right, that's my intention for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. That will be it for today's episode, and I will chat with you again next time.